Welcome everybody. How are you doing today? It's so very nice to have you here. And today I wanted to speak a little more about our upcoming 3-week intensive that begins on July 21st. And the theme of it is the missing link to awakening. Very powerful, the missing link to awakening and to living in a world. Nervous system, tenderness, and trust. And we have spoken many times before about the nervous system, about the importance of it to our ability to be present. And I will speak more about this in the program. But today I wanted to focus a little more on tenderness, which really is the expression or the symptom of our natural state. Our true nature, right? When we are here at rest in our true nature, tenderness is naturally here. And of course, you have experienced tenderness in different aspects of your life. However, oftentimes it's really difficult to experience true tenderness with everything that arises within. And of course, at times also with what arises in the world, with what arises in our relationships with other people. That, experience of tenderness is really what shows us the difference. It shows us the difference between our natural stage and between the tendencies of the past or the mind or the ego, whatever we call that, right? Tenderness naturally present when past is present, when tendencies of the past are present, when mind is present, when ego is present, one and the same thing. There is often harshness towards what is. And that harshness sometimes gets confused or equated with what I call spiritual conditioning. Because ultimately, whatever we accept as belief, even if they are spiritual truths, and even if they are, universally accepted spiritual truths, if they are just existing in the realm of our belief and not so much in the realm of our experience, then even the spiritual truths that come from our thinking in a moment are really an expression of the past, expression of harshness rather than expression of tenderness. I often spoke about this before, that, I even used to call it the spiritual terrorism, when we use the concepts of spirituality, when we use our understanding of spirituality to torture yourself because of your own experience, or others, judging and most of all judging, right? Because we don't have that natural, simple tenderness of being here. And so it's very powerful to realize that even spiritual concepts are just concepts, right? They are just thoughts like everything else. And in the moment, what matters really is our actual experience in a moment. And I want you to notice that right now, because we can either be here with kindness, with tenderness, that's natural, right? Or there may be or can be harshness present towards what arises here. And we don't want to judge that, but we want to discriminate. We want to differentiate. And we want to understand that as long as harshness is present, we are not really going to be able to be here. So in that way, tenderness is really the key. It's one of the keys and the missing links to awakening. The willingness to just be here, just the way you are, with whatever arises in a moment. And watch that, right? Watch the tendency. Is there a tendency to judge? Is there a tendency to remove yourself or try to justify or try to apply some spiritual understanding? Or is there that innocence, the innocence of presence, the innocence of our true nature? To just simply allow what is to be here. That's also how we grow in trust, right? We grow in trust by allowing what is here to actually be here. So I will be speaking about this and about a lot of other things in our upcoming 3-week intensive. And of course, not just speaking, but everything the way I teach is very experiential. So we will be actually really experiencing that together. And I'm very much looking forward to that. And if you are enjoying our videos, please subscribe, please comment, please share, so that more people can benefit from this.